We are at the Knepp Estate in West Sussex. Russ, why are we at the Knepp Estate in West Sussex?
So we're here because we've got some very exciting news, which is that we are now supporting the Knepp Wildland Foundation with a percentage of our revenue that we make as a business to support their incredible rewilding efforts that they do. And the first thing we've done with our first donation is buy a satellite collar for one of their storks, and their white storks is one of their kind of main rewilding success stories that they've done, and we bought a satellite collar for it so they can track it, and a box of other gadgets and bits for their conservation operation, and we got to name a stork as well. So we've got a stork called Indiana, sponsored by the Avery Brown team, which is very exciting. And what have we done here today, Tim?
So the team, all 6 of us, have had a tour with Bonnie and Laura, and they've taken us around for about a 2-hour walk, introduced us to the storks, and we've had a look at some amazing wildlife this morning, and then this afternoon we've had an incredible lunch just down the road that is also part of the Knepp Estate. Absolutely lovely day out for the team.
And we did this in the wrong order because we were at the most beautiful part of the Knepp Estate earlier, and now we're just outside the restaurant over there by a road. But hey, you get the idea. And in this video there'll be beautiful shots of storks gliding down and the rest of the estate, right? So it'll be okay.
Yeah. A good day out.
See you soon.
So I'm in a field filled with cow pap and dead animal bones. Although that sounds really scary, we're actually in the amazing Knepp Estate, part of their rewilding project. The entire A&B team are out here today to visit the storks and all the amazing wild that's out here. Right now we're walking to go see the storks that are off the beaten path, but we've got to traverse a bit of mud to get there.
Weird, changeable bat.
Oh,
it does lots of different sounds, so it's really hard to pinpoint. The one that sounds weird, that's the nightingale. That.
That's brilliant.
So nightingales are in decline across most of the UK, but Knepp is one of the only sites where they're increasing. So they're migratory. So 3 or 4 weeks ago, they all returned from sub-Saharan Africa, and they're calling in the day to kind of defend their territory, but mostly they call at night to attract a mate. And May is like their peak singing month. So by early June, it starts to tail off because the only ones you're hearing are the ones that haven't paired up. So last year we had like one lonely male calling in like mid-June or something. But I think we've got more. Penny's been out surveying, hasn't she? And I think there's more nightingale territories this year than ever before. So year on year, the numbers are increasing. Okay. And that's why a lot of people come to Knepp. It's one of the kind of key species is to hear that sound.
They tend to make their nest just a few inches off the ground in thickets of scrub like this. So like really impenetrable for anything else, but really hard to spot. So they can be kind of 5 meters away, and it's beautiful, but you barely ever see them, really.
Are they like a classic species of why this is so important?
Classic
because
scrubland.
They're losing all
Yes.
this
they're losing
habitat.
this scrubland habitat,
Okay.
exactly. So that's showing that if you have the habitat,
They'll come back.
then they will come back.
So the truth is, there's probably enough, there's a massive pond in the middle, there's probably enough that they could kind of sustain themselves, but we want to make sure that it's absolutely best practice, which is why we do this feeding once a day. We're really strict with it. We only ever allow the volunteers in for at most an hour a day, and then we leave them alone. We go out of the pen and then we're gone. So as you can see, it's an open topped enclosure, but be careful because there is an electric fence all the way around. And the reason for that is if a fox or a mink or even a badger, something like that, was to get in, they would absolutely create a problem for those storks. And the other super exciting part about this part of the project is our non-flyers, for the first time last year, so they've been here since 2016, but they only started breeding last year. So it's taken them that long to feel kind of secure and comfortable. And Dawn and Colette are going to go and do some assist feeding of chicks which are on the ground in that woodland, and I'll show you some videos because it is just so amazing. So last year we only had 2 nests on the ground with a total of 3 chicks fledged off the ground. This year we think we've got about 9 nests on the ground, and there's lots of little chicks, which is phenomenal.
This part of the project is quite staff intensive, time intensive, infrastructure, and this is what the costs of the project are. This is what you guys are helping to support, really, and what we're constantly fundraising for. So yeah, obviously in 5-10 years time this won't exist. The idea is that it will be a self-sustaining population, and we'll still have an officer and do tours and everything, but we won't need to do this side of it because they'll be fully wild.
That's the really interesting thing. If everything goes well, and sometimes I kind of think of it like if I do my job very well, in 5-10 years, theoretically, there won't be a need for it in the same way, because when these injured storks, and if you look closer, you might see some of them have only got one wing, some of them are quite overbalanced. Eventually they'll die of old age. Hopefully they'll get to the ripe old age of 30. They can live for 30 years, but they were from the wild, so we don't know how old many of them are. But we're not looking to repopulate these non-flyers. So when they all die, this fence will come down. They should by then be re-established, and we won't have to do any supplementary feeding or any of that kind of thing. So the start of a reintroduction is very, very hands-on, and then you kind of take your hands off as the colony gets established, and that's the long-term aim. This big tree that's in front of us, that one's just landed on, it's actually got 4 stork nests in.
Wow.
The one at the top, that they're displaying on nicely, is our first ever nest that's got 6 eggs. Wow. So it's a bit of a record, and everyone was quite surprised to hear that it's 6 eggs. It's very, very unusual.
So we just heard like a turtle dove in Knepp, which is kind of a big deal because apparently they don't really get those here. We heard some purring in the tree, so it's pretty big.
Can you hear that?
Oh, there, that was it. Okay, that's that sound. It's somewhere, I feel like it's over there.
If that was a pair, that's them, but there might be more. That's exciting. That's really cool. Yeah, really, that's also my first one this year that I've heard.
That's only the second I've ever seen it now.
Oh, guys, we're smashing it.
That's how lucky you are.
It's really nice just to be out here in like the hot May sun, just being in nature on a fine Wednesday morning.
The female laid up here about 3 days ago and gave birth to 4 tiny little piglets. And then she just spent 2 days just here, pretty much, kind of oxytocined up and just lying there recovering. And after about 2 to 3 days, the piglets were able to run around a bit, and they've clearly come away from here. But you can see where she's just spent some time around. And they do build themselves, which is very sweet, almost a nest. So she'll rip grasses up, she'll rip soft leaves up, and she'll lie in the middle of it, and then the piglets are born. So yeah, the Tamworths, you can see where she's been ripping around. I think she's got 4 piglets, and she could be really anywhere.
We've got standoff. Don't run into the car. There's a deer behind it. Who wants burgers for dinner? What do we do here then? Seriously.
What's up, mate?
What am I supposed to do? We're surrounded by wildlife.